Hello, and welcome to another round of Sarah's question time. And today's question is, Sarah, how do I become an excellent communicator? I use the word excellent for a reason. The people that come to me are already decent communicators, but I and my clients are not interested in mediocre. We're interested in what makes people exceptional. And I'm going to talk about something that is really important in exceptional communication that you may not think about. So, there are a myriad of practical frameworks out there for developing excellent communication, for having tough conversations, for negotiation, for conflict, etc. And all of those are things that I teach my clients. However, the most exceptional framework in the world is not going to help you if your internal environment is not aligned for exceptional communication. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that statement. If you are emotionally dysregulated, there is no framework in the world that is going to help you. So when you are emotionally dysregulated, whether you know it or not, you are giving subtle cues to the other person, even if you think you're hiding that emotion well. But most of the time, it's fairly obvious anyway, because it will come across in your voice, in your body language. But even if it's not, there are other cues within nonverbal communication that the person you are talking to or persons, they're picking up on those primitive cues. So, one of the absolute keys or precursors to having any kind of tough conversation is to process your emotions around it. That's step one. Step two, to really understand your needs. So, why should you do this? Well, number one, because you have responsibility for your own emotions and you have responsibility for processing those emotions. It's not up to the person that you're talking to regulate you. And it's very easy to deny those emotions, distract yourself from the emotions, or suppress the emotions. I would suggest you don't do that because it accumulates over time, especially if we're talking about one person and you just leave it to accumulate. This is going to really start to break down the avenues of communication with that particular person over time. So step one is to always process, and I have a lot of other videos on that subject, and that is something that I teach in depth with my clients in a very practical way. The second part is to really identify what it is that you need from the other person. So it's quite common that my clients or people I talk to will say to me, Sarah, this person is just not giving me what I want or what I need, and they're not meeting expectations. And when you look at it, it becomes clear a lot of the time that there is not really adequate communication of what you want and need. And that can often be because you're emotional in relation to that person, and therefore you're unable to think as rationally as you could, and you're unable to communicate as well as you could. So, after processing the emotions, really get to the core of what do you need from this other person so that you can request it really clearly in no uncertain terms. And that could be something as simple as, I need you to just listen to me speak before speaking yourself. And then we're going to have a conversation at the end to check that we're absolutely aligned and on the same page here. Or it could be something much bigger around, hey, you haven't done this particular thing at work the way I would have liked you to do it. I take responsibility as well for this. So this starts to lower the other person's possible defensiveness reaction to what you're saying. If you take some partial responsibility, that's what we're here to talk about now and hammer out by the end of this conversation. So these are really precursors to communication and approaching tough conversations or conversations where there is likely to be some kind of conflict or defensiveness going on.